UFC 300, it is time for the greatest UFC or even MMA fight card of all time. It is not only a fight card filled with fights that I'm super interested to watch, but there is a bunch of betting opportunities, and we're going to be quickly going over all my quick picks and my favorite bets on the card. If you want a full in-depth breakdown of the fights, check out my video from Monday. That's going to be a full, almost an hour, just going through every single fight, breaking it down super in-depth. This one's going to be a nice, quick, to the point, going over my bets most of all. Mostly want to cover a betting perspective on this, keep it short and sweet, go over my picks. So let's get into it. Before we do, let me know in the comments your favorite, most confident picks, your most confident bets on the card, and click that subscribe button. I see that 75-80% of my viewers are not subscribed. Let's change that. Let's get that down to like 70. That seems pretty reasonable. Let's get right into it though. First fight on the card. Insane. Two former champions. Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Cody Garbrandt. Man, if you got in on that almost 3-1 Cody Garbrandt, I honestly think that is the side that has value on this. I think Figgy wins. I was looking at maybe Figgy KO because when Cody loses, as you know, it is typically going to be by KO. But this is a fight where I think Cody is live. I'm not willing to lay minus 300 or more on Figueiredo. I think Cody Garbrandt could potentially, he is the bigger guy, the naturally bigger guy. I think maybe he could find the chin and knock Figgy out. Figgy, people forget, is getting a little up there for the division. And I also could see Cody being a little bit more patient like we have seen recently. And this could be a close fight. This could end up going to decision. And if it does, you know, Cody, he could end up taking it. So I'm going to pick Figueiredo. No bet, though. I think I kind of missed the line on that big plus money. I do think Figgy should win. The durability edge, of course, is on his side. So give me Figueiredo. I'm going to say he gets the TKO, but I could see this fight being a little closer than a lot of people think. Next up, we got Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. This is one I was kind of torn on, man. I thought about taking a dog shot on Jim Miller. I am looking at a Jim Miller inside the distance where a decision would equal a push. You'd get your money back. I think I'm going to play that. I see it right now, minus 130. I see fight goes to decision, minus 115. That was a little interesting to me. Bobby has always been durable. Obviously, that's been a little in check lately, but you know, you got to look at who he's fighting. Jim Miller has shown that he can go 15 a lot easier these days. I think I don't know if I'll play that fight goes to decision prop, but I think I'm going to play that decision equals push inside the distance. It's minus 130 right now. It's only been working in my direction. That's why I haven't played it yet, but I think I'm going to end up playing that. We move on. I will pick Bobby Green to win by decision, but I think the value on that Miller inside the distance only is there. Next up, we got Jessica Andrade taking on Marina Rodriguez. Man, I think this is a really close fight. I think this has got to be dog or pass because I think it's very close. Like, there's pros and cons on both sides, as I got into on my full breakdown. I think if you're gonna bet this card, you got to take this fight. You got to take the underdog. I'm looking at Marina plus 120. It is tempting. You know, part of me is like, just lay off of it. It's a close fight, but part of me is like, I'm picking Marina to win this fight. I think she's going to win a volume-based decisions, and she's the underdog. But it's not a ton of plus money, so maybe I'll lay off of it. I'm pretty tempted, though. We'll see later on in the week. It's only been moving in my favor. She was the favorite. Now she's being pushed to the underdog. Plus 120, tempting. No bet yet, though. Next, I will pick her to win by decision, though. Next up, we got Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. I'm a big Renato Moicano fan, but I do have to go with Jalen Turner. I think this is a tough fight for Moicano to get him to the mat. He doesn't have super, high-level wrestling, but his jiu-jitsu is on point. Most of the time, he is finishing these fights by rear naked choke, by submission. Doesn't have a knockout on his record, but I was seeing plus 1,600, 16-1 on Moicano to get the finish. Jalen Turner, most of his losses have been via KO, TKO. It's happened 4 times in his career. I could see a world where, he's a huge lightweight here, 155. Making that division at 6'3" is so tough for him. I could see him having trouble in those later rounds, and Moicano gets on top and lands ground and pound. He's never been a huge, devastating ground and pound guy, but, I know he's going to be pushing for the finish here. I think he needs to if he gets the win. Obviously, most likely got to lean the rear naked choke. That's typically how he gets it done. But, I'm going to pick Jalen Turner to get that TKO, but I honestly think that 16-1 Moicano KO to get his first, I get it, he's never had one in his career. I think that's live. I might end up with a little bit of money on that. Just a little sprinkle. I think that line is a little crazy on a guy who we have seen gas out and get tired and get finished. Next up, we got Sodiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopes. Everybody loves Lopes. I like him too. But I'm not counting out Sodiq here. I think this is a 50-50 fight. If you're taking plus money on Sodiq, I don't blame you. Overall, I will lean Diego Lopes. I think most likely we have seen Yusuff get clipped. We've seen him get hurt. He's tough. He works through it. But we have seen him get hurt in that Arnold Allen fight. He was winning the minutes, but he just kept getting hurt, kept getting hit. I think Lopes could be a tough matchup because on the feet he's gonna have a little bit more firepower, and on the ground if Sodiq chooses to take it there, Lopes, as we've seen, he's a submission threat on top, on bottom. Overall, I like the fight goes to decision at plus 160. I think Sadiq's tough enough to fight through it as long as he doesn't get put completely out. And I know the jiu-jitsu is on point. Training over there at Lloyd Irvin's, he's got clean jiu-jitsu. I don't really see him getting submitted. Especially because I think he'll be the one to be able to get on top. So being able to avoid the submissions while on top should be a little bit easier. I think he should be good there. As long as he doesn't get knocked out, I think that cash is plus 160. I don't see him finishing Lopes either, even though Lopes does kind of have a kill or be kill style sometimes. Give me that plus 160. Sodiq versus Lopes goes the decision. I like that plus money, man. I think there's a good chance that fight goes the decision. I will pick Lopes to win it, but I like that. I like that there. Next up, we got Holly Holm taking on Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison making her 135 debut. And I get it. The wrestling, the judo, obviously on point. I think she should be the favorite. I think she wins the fight. But the weight cut, I do think she's going to make weight. I know she's got a whole team of people, professionals that are going to help her make this weight. I think she will. She's a professional. But at the end of the day, man, 5-1 is a little crazy. I get Holly's 42. And, I get Kayla. She's going to have a big strength in wrestling and judo and just grappling advantage here. We've seen Holly lose to that before. But, typically the girl, we've only really seen Holly taken down by what? Misha Tate a long time ago. And, I haven't seen her get wrestled in a while, man. So, I'm going to pick Kayla Harrison to win. But I think she's going to win a decision. I think Holly will be able to stick in there. So I bet the fight goes to decision at minus 115. And I also bet Holly, man. I bet her at plus 360. I think that line is off. I think Kayla wins the fight. But, I think she should be like minus 250. I think this line is a little crazy, a little disrespectful. So I'm going to take this plus 360 underdog on Holly Holm. I get she's up there for the age, and she hasn't had her, some of her best performances lately. But I think there's a world where that weight cut, yes, she'll make the weight, but at what cost? And if she slows down, Holly is a vet. She knows how to win fights, and I would not be surprised if she can pull it off as the underdog. So give me a plus 360. I will pick Kayla, but I'm betting Holly, and I like that fight goes to decision as well. We move on to another fight where I'm very interested in the underdog. We got Calvin Kattar. He's sitting at about plus 142 on some books right now. And it is very tempting. I think the only reason I haven't played it is it's moving in my favor. I like Aljo, but I do think, this is a little bit of a shakeup. He is actually younger than Kattar, but, even less fights. But, we've seen his chin get a little tested. I know Kattar's dealing with an injury, and that, and including in the next fight with Rakic, does scare me. But I just feel like big plus money. You got the guy who's the natural featherweight. He is the bigger guy, not just taller. He's big. Aljo is jacked, don't get me wrong. But, I don't know if I can have a ton of confidence laying chalk on a guy coming up to wrestle the much bigger guy. Maybe not much bigger, but he is bigger. And Calvin has big power in his hands. I think he can catch Aljo. I think he can win this fight. I think he can knock Aljo out. So I'm going to end up with some plus money on Calvin Kattar. I think he can catch Aljo coming in. I think, we've seen Aljo, he is there to be hit sometimes. And, I don't think he has a bad chin, but I do think he can be put out by a guy like Calvin Kattar. So give me Calvin Kattar to win the fight by knockout. And I'm picking him outright, and I will end up with some plus money on him. I'm just watching that line. I want to get the best. If I can get plus 150, by all means. Next up, we got Yuri Prochazka taking on Alexander Rakic. man, I just feel like, again, Rakic coming off the knee injury like Kattar. He's got a long layoff, and Yuri is a tough guy to come in on a long layoff. He's super unorthodox, sometimes downright ugly with the technique, but at the end of the day, a good strike is one that lands, and he's got a ton of power, and he does know how to, he will go after it. He's a shit-eating wild man, and I think he could catch Rakic. He could knock him out, but I'm going to go with the guy at almost even money, minus 117. I'm going to take the guy with the better skills. I think he can mix in a little wrestling. I think he can kick the legs of Yuri, which we've seen has been an issue in several of his fights before. Give me Alexander Rakic to win by decision. He could end up knocking him out, but I'm going to take Rakic to win by decision, mix in a little bit of wrestling, mix in those kicks, and give me the better fighter, in my opinion. Next up, we got Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This is a matter in me. Do I think the line should be as ridiculous as it is? No. The biggest favorite in UFC history. It is a cage fight at the end of the day, and Cody is a dog, I will say. But I just think Bo has him covered absolutely everywhere. The big question is, how will he win the fight? Overall, I lean the KO. I have the KO bet at plus 140. I told you guys earlier in the week that was going to be my way. I think he comes out here and wants to make a statement. He just got a big knockout in his last win. This is UFC 300. He's on the main card. He's going to want to knock Cody out. He doesn't want to have to wrestle, I don't think, because everybody knows he can wrestle. But I'm looking at the decision prop at plus 1,600, and I might end up having to have a little hedge on that, man. I mean, do I think it goes 15? No, I don't. But, Bo decision plus 1,600, that might be worth a little sprinkle. But overall, I got the KO plus 140 locked in already. We move on to the next fight. We got Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. This is a fight where I feel like I have to pick Arman. I feel like he can get on top. He can land the ground and pound. I love Charles. He's one of my favorite fighters. He could definitely knock him out, though. I got to go with the momentum. The guy who's looking like he's taking his strength and conditioning very seriously. I think he gets on top, lands the ground and pound. But, man, I would not be surprised if Oliveira could finish him. And honestly, everybody seems to think sub. And I do think he get to the back and submit him. But we've seen Arman get hurt. We've seen him get clipped. Plus 850 Charles by KO. I went ahead and locked that in. I think that line is off. I think Charles does have the striking advantage here. I think he could knock Arman out. I also wouldn't be shocked if he hurt him, got on top, and landed some ground and pound and finished him. I'm going to take Oliveira by KO plus 850. I will pick pick Arman. I do think he should be the favorite, but give me Charles by KO plus 850, man. I think there's lots of value on that. We move on to the first title fight. We got the BMF title, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. And this is a fight, man, gun to my absolute head, I'll pick Justin Gaethje, but I don't have the confidence that most people do. It is his natural weight class. He's got a ton of power. Max, he's still looking good, but, I do think Gaethje is genuinely just hitting, like, his prime. I think Max, it's not that he's the younger guy, or what are they, like the same age, but, Max has been fighting at the highest level forever. Yeah, he's the younger guy. And I just think, this is a fight where probably, Gaethje should be the favorite. It's just, man, I see the Max KO, and I had to lay some money on that, man. Plus 900. I thought about their fight doesn't go to decision, minus 120. But overall, I think this fight could end up going to decision. I'm going to pick Justin, but honestly, that plus 900 KO, that needed some money. So I went ahead and put a little stack on that. I think Max could definitely, win this fight in the later rounds. TKO. We've seen Justin finish before. I could see Max doing it again, man. Max is an all-time great. We move on to the next title fight on the card. We got Zhang Weili Zhang versus Yao Xiaonan. This is a fight where I do think Zhang has her covered here. I think she's the better fighter. But again, like the Holly fight, for different reasons, but plus 380. It's actually plus 385 now. I did not think it was going to go even further, but I locked in plus 380 on Yan. I think if Zhang doesn't get her to the ground here, it could end up playing pretty close, man. We've seen Zhang get finished. I think Yan, she's got some momentum here. She did have a couple tough losses, but she is looking better. I think she could end up catching the chin of Zhang, or even just winning the fight by decision via volume if it stays on the feet for too long. I did bet Zhang by sub earlier in the week, plus 600, but I had to bet that plus 380 on Yan. I think both of those could very well hit. I like the number. Overall, I think Zhang could definitely, knock her out as well, but that's what everybody thinks, and the line indicates it. But plus 600 on the sub and plus 380 on Yan to pull off the upset. Man, at the end of the day, I love both those numbers. I went ahead and bet both. We move on. I will pick Zhang, though, as you know. Main event, man. We got the light heavyweight title. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. This is going to be a fantastic fight. I cannot wait. I cannot believe some people really had a problem with this as a main event. I get it's just because people wanted like Conor or something, but man, this is a fantastic fight. I cannot wait. Someone's getting finished. Someone's getting knocked out. And I'm going to go ahead and lean Alex Pereira. I think this fight will go over a little bit. I did bet the main event. This fight goes over 1.5 at minus 155. I think they're going to have respect for each other. I think they're going to start a little slow in the first. They'll start heating up in the second. And that's why I almost bet fight completes 2. It was like even money. But I do think that into the second round, there could be a finish on either side. I'm going to lean Alex Pereira, man. The calf kicks over the course of the fight. Jamal Hill, as the fight goes on, I think those legs could start getting chopped up. He could definitely knock Alex Pereira out. He's got nice boxing. He's got good hands, good power. He could definitely knock Alex out. But I'm going to go Alex, not because of the left hook that everyone's talking about. The calf kicks, the footwork is a little better. Is his defense a little shaky sometimes? Yes, but so is Jamal Hill's when you look at his footwork. And overall, I don't think Jamal Hill's going to go in here and wrestle. I think they're going to play it out on the feet. So give me Alex Pereira. I took him at minus 125. I did also bet the over 1.5 at minus 155, and those are going to be my picks, man. I am really excited for this card. We got to take 3 dabs for UFC 300. As I wrap up all my picks, man, I will go through them one time and go through the bets. Alex Pereira, I'm taking him by KO. Zhang Weili, I'm taking her by sub. We got Justin Gaethje. I'm gonna ever so slightly lean him. Honestly, I said TKO maybe earlier in the week. I'm gonna lean decision. And Charles Oliveira, I want to bet, but I'm picking Armin. I did bet him by KO. Bo Nickal by KO. Alexander Rakic decision. Calvin Kattar KO. Kayla Harrison decision. Diego Lopes decision. Jalen Turner knockout, Marina Rodriguez decision, Bobby Green decision, and Davison Figueiredo by knockout. The bets, one last time, I got Holm straight plus 360. I got fight goes the decision in that fight minus 115. I got Rakic minus 117. I got Bo KO plus 140. I got Oliveira KO plus 850. Max KO plus 900. Yao Xiaonan plus 380. Zhang by sub plus 600. Pereira minus 125. And the over minus 155. And I forgot to mention the over in the Sadiq and Diego Lopes. I got the plus 160 on the fight goes the decision. Those are my bets, man. Those are my picks. I hope you enjoy the card, man. Make sure you leave a like or a dislike and tell me how I absolutely suck and you hate this breakdown. Let me know in the comments your favorite bet, your favorite, most confident picks, man. I appreciate you guys. I hope you make $1 million on this card. We've been killing it in 2024, and I intend to do the exact same on Saturday. I appreciate you watching this. Click the subscribe button. Let's do it all over again. Enjoy the fights. I'll catch you then. Peace.